blame Brady. The defense was blame who you want. I don't care. What was that from Tampa? Their first 5 drives, 3 and out. They didn't try to establish a running game. It was a series of odd, low percentage throws. Did they spend all week babysitting Antonio Brown? I don't know what it was. I mean, Tampa's still 6-3. Almost everybody in the NFL said they'd be 9-7. That's what Vegas thought. So they're on track. They're going to be a 9-10 win team. But it's the way they have looked against Chicago. It's the way they have looked against the Saints last night. And my takeaway was the first 5 drives of the game, what was Tampa trying to establish? They were just making crap up. New Orleans, the Saints came out. Short passes. Get the ball out of Drew's hands. We've got big, rangy receivers. Let's get it out. Protect Drew. I knew exactly what the Saints were trying to do all night. I could watch it. A well-coached football team can have a bad game, a bad half. I get it. But this was a coaching mismatch. This felt like Sean Payton and Drew Brees collectively put their heads together, and Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator, and it was just a witch's brew of stuff that would work. I don't know what Tampa was doing, and that's on the head coach. And yeah, Brady was bad, but so was the defense, and we know Todd Bowles can coach. That's the responsibility of the head coach. The protection was bad. There was no run game established. It was low percentage throws. And stop worrying about Gronk and AB. Just get the ball to the guys that are open. I still don't think they used Leonard Fournette enough, and I don't think they run the football enough. I didn't see any adjustments from Tampa. Like, listen, but we had no preseason. We got COVID. Guys are hurt. Seattle had a bad first half. They were more competitive in the second half. The Kansas City Chiefs had a bad game against the Raiders. It happens, okay? It's a weird year. Players can't go out. They're young men. You have bad Sundays. But to not have, I know Tampa was on a short week, but I don't know what they were trying to do. I didn't get any of it. I didn't see any of it. You ever read a newspaper column and you're through with it and you're like, what was she trying to say? What was he trying to say? You go into a store and the feng shui is bad and you're all over it and you're like, what? Go to a grocery store and you're like, lead me somewhere. Take me somewhere. The produce is too close to the cereals, too close to this, too close to that. I got motor oil right next to the apple juice. What is this? Take me somewhere. Take me somewhere as a team. Tampa last night, and this was not my knock on Bruce Arians. It's always been this, is that he's fun, he's funny, but his teams are a little loose. They're a little inconsistent. I don't know exactly what I'm getting, and the great coaches will have one on in 30 minutes. I always feel like I knew what Jimmy Johnson, I know what Chuck Noll, I know what Bill Belichick, I know what they want to do. I can see it on television. I watch the game, and I'm like, oh, they have watched film, like Buffalo yesterday. When you watch Buffalo, Buffalo said, we don't respect Seattle's pass rush or secondary. We're not even going to run the ball. We're going to go downfield right at Seattle. I didn't have to be in one film session for the Bills. You could see it within the second series. They attacked Seattle's secondary. They didn't respect it on film. Our receivers are better than their DBs. That's good coaching. I can see it. I know what you looked at as a staff and went, weakness, attack it. You watch Alabama play. Their first 2 series, they'll tell you right out of the gate, this is what they're weak. I watched Notre Dame against Clemson. Notre Dame told you what they thought they could do against Clemson. 3.5 hours. I don't know what Tampa was doing. 5 rushing attempts is the lowest in NFL history, and 1 was a kneel down. What? I mean, they never established anything. So, I mean, blame Brady. Suddenly, Brady can't play quarterback. Todd Bowles doesn't know what he's doing. None of their players are any good. I don't buy that. The culpability is always on the head coach to me because everybody has bad games, but you got to make adjustments. Tampa never did, and here's Tom after.
Turning the ball over against a good team never helps. We just didn't play the way we're capable of playing. Everyone's got to do a lot better, and it starts with me. And get back to work tomorrow morning and try to make it a better week.
Now, I will say, this has been the most inconsistent year ever. I mean, no preseason, so young players are all over the place. I've seen the Titans have a terrible game. Seattle yesterday was awful. I still can't quite figure out week to week what Buffalo is, and I think they're well coached. So I understand inconsistency this year. I totally get it. But the inconsistency that COVID and injuries are bringing us in no preseason, plus the inconsistency historically of Bruce Arians, it makes me worry about this team. About every third game, offensively, I don't know what Tampa's trying to do. All right, let's go to this. The most entertaining football game I think I've seen all year. All year was Miami to Arizona. I'm going to tell you, that was 3.5 hours of just fun. So I told you I was worried about Tua. Tua looks small, and he doesn't have a ton of wiggle, and he's not Kyler Murray. So let me just say this about the game. Kyler Murray was unstoppable against what I perceive as an excellent head coach and a very good defense. Tua did a lot of his stuff against what I consider to be a bad defense, and I don't know about the coaching staff. So what Kyler did against that defense and that coach is way more impressive to contextualize it than what Tua did. But Tua's just playing now for the first time, second game ever. So let's talk about Tua. I thought this league's about head coaches and quarterbacks. When you get a Jimmy Johnson and Aikman, you get a Chuck Nolan and a Bradshaw, that's when you win Super Bowls. When you get a Bill Walsh and a Montana, you get a Belichick and a Brady, that's when you win Super Bowls. You get a Coughlin and an Eli in his prime, that's when you win Super Bowls. It's not just the quarterback, it's not just the coach. The combination of Brian Flores and Tua, you should be very excited about. And in the history of the NFL, the defense, the quicker decision you have to make. You have less time in the pocket, less time before you get hit. I thought the thing that was great about Tua yesterday, he was asked a bunch of times, think quick, act quick, move quick. Aced all of them. And that is something a lot of good quarterbacks can struggle with. Big Ben drives me nuts. When you ramp up the speed against Big Ben, he makes a lot of mistakes 15 years into doing this. But I thought with Tua, I thought they asked him, they moved him around, drop deep, go left, go right. But all the times in that game, and we all know he's accurate. Like, that's the no-brainer. We're never arguing. The comp for him, and we've been on this for 2 years, the comp for him is Drew Brees. He is bizarrely accurate. He's got a beautiful release. He's very accurate. That's never been the issue with him. We know that's good. Like Joe Burrow, he's Tony Romo. His escapability is not under question. Justin Herbert, arm strength. We know certain, Lamar Jackson's quickness. We know certain things. Tua's accuracy, that's not up for debate. He throws an incredibly accurate football. But I thought yesterday, just the ability to do multiple things, throw from multiple spots, to make really quick decisions in the red zone. It's a cluttered space. I thought he was great on that. I thought he was fantastic on it. And that's what I worry about. Now, he's going to play better defenses. But if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, what you saw yesterday, I thought Flores had a great day as a football coach. I thought he had a great game plan, good adjustments. And I thought Tua passed the eyeball test, accuracy test, make a quick decision test, sprinkled the ball around. He didn't get locked into one guy. He gave it to a lot of different guys. That was fantastic. Brian Flores afterwards.
I thought he made a lot of plays for us, a lot of big plays for us, especially down the stretch when we needed it. It was kind of a back and forth game. They made plays, we made plays. The stage wasn't too big for him tonight. He played well.
Here's the other thing. Ryan Fitzpatrick got benched. He went to Harvard. But he throws some bad picks. Okay? So Ryan Fitzpatrick is your classic gunslinger. You fall in love with him and fall out of love with him on the same drive. But what's great about Tua here, and I think Brian Flores knew this, Brian Flores is like, listen, this defense is good. Like, our defense is good and our kicking game's good. If we can just cut the mistakes down. So we all thought it was a little bit of a pullback on Fitzpatrick to Tua, right? He doesn't have all this. But actually, Tua fits Miami's personnel better. This team can win a lot of 23-20 games. They can win a lot of 23-20 games. What they can't do, they're not talented enough to get in shootouts and have 2 picks. And you're not going to have a lot of 2-pick games with Tua. So he actually fits. He's more calculated. He plays within a system, but he's got enough juice to make plays that you couldn't coach. And the other thing about it is, one of the reasons, and Jimmy Johnson will talk about this later, is that you can do a lot of stuff at practice. And I've heard NFL guys tell me this. But as a quarterback in practice, nobody's going to light you up. You're not going to get, nobody's going to light up Troy Aikman in his prime at practice. So you have to play in games. Because then there's a fear for a quarterback. Oh, I can get knocked out. And a lot of quarterbacks, it's like they say in baseball, he's great at batting practice. He's a batting practice hero. Live pitching, not the same. Batting practice, it's grooved in. Tua may have looked great at practice, but when you add the element of, dude, somebody may take you out, a lot of guys psychologically, it messes with them. They're not the same in